Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to finish off the roast gravy. The roast gravy doesn't have any thickening in. You can add thickening if you want, I usually do, but a roast gravy I'll show you how to get the flavour from the pan and utilise the stock that we made. So if you look over here inside the pot, this is the stock that we've been cooking. This stock had our, I put the chicken wings in there, I put the stomach in there, the heart in there and the neck. And I threw in a bay leaf as well. And that's been simmering away gently. And we've got the flavour out of there, we've extracted the flavour. And now over here I have the roasting pan, and you can see in the roasting pan you got some bits of maybe a little bit of skin there from the bird, and you can see all these bits that are stuck to the bottom of the pan. That's flavour. Now the liquid that you see is both juice and fat, and by putting it on the stove top, what we're going to do is we're going to boil off the liquid until we just have the fat, and then we're going to pour off the fat. This is the way we separate the fat and the liquid, or the fat from the liquid. So we'll leave this here for a few minutes. We'll come back after this has been simmering for just a moment. So now I'm going to show you how we're going to finish off this pan gravy. So let's go over to the stock here, and you see the stock is boiling. And when you start to boil, you get this scum that comes to the top. We just scoop that off. We skim that scum off. You can use a ladle or a slotted spoon or skimmer, and we just take that out like that. And now if we look over into this pan, what you'll see is if you go back, pull back a little bit, the steam is coming up. As long as steam is coming up, it means there's liquid in the pan. But this is reduced quite a lot. So you need to pay attention here now. And the goal is to boil off all of the liquid until we just have the fat. And then what we'll do is we'll pour off the fat. So that's gone down considerably now, but we're going to hang in there until it's all gone. Now we can see that we're starting to get a sound there, and once you start getting that sound you need to pay particular attention. We're getting still some steam coming off. And now, as the water evaporates, parts of the fat are actually getting hotter. And we're going to almost cook this onto the pan and then take it off again. And by browning it, we're going to get a wonderful flavour. And you can see a part of the pan is starting to brown right there. That's flavour, so I'm going to turn this down. The reason that's brown in there, the pan is not perfectly flat. That piece is high and there's no liquid on there like there is in this part. So if I move a little bit more liquid over the top, that'll help in the evaporation process. When you cook with gas, you get a much more even heat with the gas flame. When you put the pan on an electric stove, you don't, as you can see, this pan rots, and the roasting pan doesn't always have a, unless you have a very heavy bottom pan, doesn't always have a very level base. Now this is good. We want that brown, that's starting to get flavour. We want to see if we can get some of that around here as well. I'm moving the pan over here now so I can get some browning over this side as well. And what's happening now is we're actually frying those bits in the pan. They're actually frying there, giving us a little bit of flavour. And that's about as dark as you want them, a nice dark caramel colour. And that's good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tip this up. And we're going to, all that brown is wonderful, wonderful flavour, and we've collected the fat in the bottom there. So I'm going to pour the fat off. I'll put that in with my scum over there. We're going to put this back onto the stove, and now we're going to get a big burst of steam because I'm going to add my stock to this, and this is deglazing it. This is the step where you would, if you're going to use wine, you would put wine on here. If you're going to use brandy, you would use brandy, sherry, port, whatever you like. So now that I've added my stock to the pan, we want to bring it to the boil, and I'm loosening. In French, in classical cuisine, we call them the fond, which means the base or the bottom. Those brown bits that are stuck to the bottom there. And see the wonderful colour that it's given the gravy? And that now has a wonderful flavour. And this is what we call a roast gravy. A roast gravy does not have any thickening in it. It's called a jus rôti in French, from the classical cuisine. And all of the flavours come from the deglazing of the pan, as you can see here, and from the stock. Now we can boil this down. The more you reduce the stock, the more flavourful it gets. The more you reduce the liquid in here, the stronger the flavour. And then we would finish off with just a little bit, just a little bit of salt in there. Not too much at all, because you do have this flavour, some of the seasoning from the turkey. And there's my roast gravy in the pan. And what I will do with this now, I'm going to pour this into another pan and strain off all of those bits, because I don't want those bits. And see how nice and clean that's left the pan? So before it looked like a dishwasher's nightmare, and now it looks very, very nice. And so here we have, this is what we call the jus rôti. Beautiful, nice roast gravy. If you wanted to thicken that up with a little bit of gravy powder, you could as well. But that's perfect on the turkey. Beautiful compliment. And that's how we make the roast gravy. That's ready to serve. And so there we have the perfect roast gravy, oodles of flavour, beautiful accompaniment to go with that roast turkey. Bada bing, bada boom. If you can't beat that, you can't beat anything.